All right, the AFL Today Show round 11 preview is here. What are we looking forward to, lads?
Bailey Smith versus the Dogs is going to be epic. I want to see Libba and Bont going at him.
Oh, and if Essendon don't win on Friday night, I could have the worst punishment yet.
This is going to be an awesome punishment. Check it out on AFL Today now. Welcome back to the AFL Today Show, here for all of your preview needs ahead of round 11. I'm your host, Liam McAllion, also known as the Stats Guy. We are here in studio. He's fired up, the bearded one in the corner, Liam Mullaly. How you going?
I'm going good. I feel like you and Alex always say I'm fired up, but I'm a pretty chill dude.
Oh, it depends what team you're talking about. I think about the Hawks, you're pretty fired up.
Pretty mellow.
We've also got Marcus Bazzano. His car's been towed, but he's still here. He's made it into the studio. How you going, mate?
Of course, no matter, even if my car's broken down, I'd still could get here quicker than it takes you to get through an intro. So there we go.
That deserves a subscribe. That
does deserve a subscribe.
Was this take 3, take 4?
Mate, that's right. We get it right.
You
can't rush perfection.
Takes time.
Yes.
Exactly right.
Yes.
Exactly right, lads. You know what else is perfect, lads? Stockhead. We are actually partnered by Stockhead, providing all types of news articles from leading journalists. And guess what? It is free, lads. It's absolutely free. How good is that?
That is awesome. Don't be a blockhead. Check out Stockhead.
Oh my God, that
he
should be
said
their
it.
new slogan.
I said it, mate.
I can't believe you just said that. What are you waiting for? Check out Stockhead today. All right. Another awesome show, lads. We're going to go through all the matchups of round 11 with tips. I think it's one of the toughest tipping rounds.
Definitely.
So we had one of the closest rounds of all time a couple of weeks ago. This one has to be the toughest tipping round. There's so many 50-50 games.
100%.
100%.
I feel like we've gone a little bit similar though. Spoiler.
Well, we'll touch on it later. We will. Stats and debates, of course. We've got the locks and big calls. I'm posing this to you guys. We'll come up with this on the socials, but if you do not get your lock right from now on, because you two, I think Leo didn't get his lock right last week, there is some forfeits on the way.
From now on, I agree.
I reckon you got it right.
No, that's fair enough. But as if we're kicking it in after he muddles up.
Muddles.
What is this? That's a new word. I like it. We're inventing words here.
New word unlocked.
There we go. And we'll finish always with the big calls and just a lot of stats along the way. So make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, subscribe and hit the notifications bell. It goes a long way. Follow AFL Today, AFL Today AU across all the socials, except for Facebook, which is Aussie Rules Today. We've got our Yeah Nah Beers post that we always do. The Yeah Nah questions might be Bailey Smith themed. Yeah,
that's
right.
Later today.
Yeah, so that'll be good fun. And we're doing giveaways with that, so you can get some beers, some shirts, and any merch and things like that, which is good fun. And check us out on all your podcast platforms. All right. Are we getting into it? It's week 2 of Sir Doug Nicholls' round. So the beautiful kits are out there. Round 11 previews. Let's get right into it. Thursday night footy. Here we go. This could be one of the biggest build-ups to a game all season. Geelong versus the Western Bulldogs. Bailey Smith returns. Oh, sorry, not returns, but he plays against his old team that he hates apparently. Thursday night, 7:30 at the Cattery. Are we very excited, Mark Olza?
I'm very excited. What a better way to start as well.
Yes.
It's the Bulldogs versus Baz. Bont versus Baz.
Libba versus Baz.
Libba versus Baz. Just everyone again in the world against Baz.
Everyone
from Footscray.
Are they going to lay into him straight?
100%.
So what was the quote again? He was saying, at least we don't have to play in Ballarat.
You don't get that at Ballarat.
You don't get that at Ballarat.
80,000.
And then Bont had some words back. So there's been brewing for a while. We love it.
I'll tell you what, these two teams have to play against each other in Ballarat next season. Next season, 2 seasons.
Well, you can get a 50,000 crowd. No, let's just do it with 5,000.
Yeah, just for the atmosphere.
That'll be great.
The hostility towards that.
Why don't they play a pre-season game there? I think that's a better idea.
You know what? That's a good shout.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
That's what he does. I don't know exactly what he does, but that's what he does.
That's what I do.
Well, both of these sides arguably had the best wins of the last round. Obviously, the Doggies obliterating my beloved Bombers, and also Geelong smashing Port Adelaide.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So one of them has to come back down to earth. It's just which team will it be? I don't know. I'm leaning, a little spoiler, but I'm leaning towards the Cats are going to be brought back down to earth. But their recent performances from the Dogs have speared them to the second favourites in the AFL Premiership odds.
Do we think that's a little bit rushed?
No,
Is that
I think
too
that's
soon?
fair. They're the second best team right now.
I think it's only because I don't think they're playing to the level of a premiership just yet. I think it's because I personally think it's because all the other teams have been crap. So Brisbane should be playing a lot better. They would be the equal favourites with Collingwood, usually. They've been playing crap. Hawthorn have been a little bit up and down. And then the Suns, Adelaide, the likes of them, aren't experienced. So I think it's a bit, any other year, the Dogs wouldn't be second favourites, but they have been awesome.
Make them second favourites because they are the second best team and every other team isn't playing that well?
Yeah, but I'm just saying, I think it's more the other team's not playing well than them playing really well. That's all I'm going to say.
Ooh,
Okay.
Interesting. Well, nevertheless, Bevo's going to get rewarded, what it looks like, with a contract extension.
Well done, Bevo.
Well,
Fair play.
We
Fair
kicked him
play.
out, didn't we?
I think everyone kicked him out.
Everyone in the AFL community was almost had a half a foot kicking him out of the door, but credit to him, he's got his side playing great footy. And in fact, they've got an excellent record against Geelong, Bevo does, down at GMHBA. They won the last 2 meetings by at least 4+ goals.
The last one was the mud ball, the mud bath.
Yeah, the mud bath.
Mud
I don't
bath.
remember that
Do you
one.
remember that? It
No.
was GMHBA last. I think it was last season. Or the
Yeah,
season
it was.
before.
It was. I think it was. The most recent.
Just covered
meeting.
in mud and brutal conditions, and the Dogs loved it.
That's a pretty good record going into this game. And I think with Geelong as well, they're a weird side. You know, Stats Guy, you haven't really given them their flowers in
True.
recent times, but they have gone win, loss, win, loss, win.
Yeah, it's tough.
So-
like, how did they lose to Carlton?
How that, you know, losing
Then they
to
beat
Carlton,
Collingwood.
and then losing to Giants when they should have won. So they just need to get a back-to-back W here.
Yeah,
think.
I agree,
It's
yeah.
a very important game for them at home. Can they stand up?
Oh, I think they can stand up. The only thing I am worried about with the teams that have good records down in GMHBA, the likes of Freo, GWS, and a few other teams.
Dogs.
Dogs as well. So that's my point. When they come up against teams that aren't scared of the category, they usually lose the last couple of seasons. So
Yeah,
if
that's a
they
good
win
point.
this one, the confidence will be there, and I think Baz will be the one to step up. Or will he? This is the question I wanted to pose before, but will he get a bit too into the fights and not worried about the footy as much? What do we think?
I think he'll get a lot of the ball. I think he might just be a little rattled how he uses it, be under a lot of pressure from the Dogs.
Yeah.
I agree, and I think these two sides are two of the best tackling sides in the competition.
It's going to be fun, yeah.
And obviously the Dogs got away with it a bit last week, and well, so did Geelong. But I can see this being a very, very hard, contested, not very high scoring game.
Oh, okay.
okay.
There we go.
Interesting.
There we go. I got one more stat for you, lads. The Dogs are actually the number 1 offense in the league and have actually averaging 97 points in their last 3 meetings with the Cats. So,
Well, that just goes against what he just said. It's not going to be a high-scoring game.
but I think the defenses have been pretty strong, but the
Yeah.
Dogs' offense has been their major factor. Even Norton hasn't been firing. It's them. Oh, there we go. A bit of a timer there. But their mids have been the ones that have helped. Like, if you have a good midfield, we've talked about this. If you have a good midfield kicking goals, you can win flags.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely. All right, getting tips here. This could be the one where we go a bit different, lads. So that's why I've kept mine out. What's your
Ooh.
tip here, Leo?
I think we should say it together. We've both gone.
Yeah. Dogs by 15.
Oh, you like those twins? Those,
Oh,
those
yeah.
annoying older lady
Yeah, when they
twins.
got interviewed.
They're so annoying.
No, I like
I'm
it.
going to get a TikTok edit
Are we
against me on
identical
that one.
twins? We can get away with it. We can get away with being brothers.
Yeah, both are talent.
But you're both going Dogs by 15.
Dogs
Yep.
by 15.
Do you think they can go down to the category 3 in a row?
100%,
course.
mate. What about you?
I'm going to go the Catters. I reckon they're going to get the job done. They've
Give us a
been pretty-
meow.
Meow. No, you didn't think I was going to do
no,
that?
and then you did it.
Give me a purr.
No more.
We can't roll our R's too.
Definitely not doing that. No, I just think Bailey Smith will step up. I think he's going to talk the talk and they'll get the job done. Jezza, I think he
Do you
needed a
mean
bit of
walk the
confidence from
walk?
last week. Talk the talk and then he'll walk the walk.
There you
Sorry,
go.
my bad.
Good job, kitten.
Yeah, stop. Your yellow card over here, yellow card. But then Jez's going to kick a few goals as well. I think he's got his confidence back, so I'm going the Cats. All right, let's
Nice.
swiftly move away from that game. No more pairing over there. Let's get into Friday night. Dreamtime, lads, the biggest game of the weekend. Dreamtime's absolutely awesome in Sir Doug Nicholls' round. If you can get to this game, get to the pre-match stuff and halftime, it's always
100%.
awesome. I feel like Baker Boy might be back. I've seen him live in that game a few times, which is awesome. Obviously, it's Essendon versus Richmond, Friday night, 7:40 at the MCG. Leo, this is your one.
This is my one, and the Bombers have to respond in this game. We don't want to touch on too much of last week, but it wasn't a pretty sight.
No,
Essendon fans.
last week I thought we had the bye,
They had
didn't we?
the bye.
The bye. The Dogs had the
bye.
bye.
We didn't play.
First team to lose to the bye. Look, we know that Merritt will respond. That's just who he is.
I agree.
He's a great player, one of the best in the comp. But I want to see some of the others lift. Like Caldwell was a bit down last week. I thought, Nic Martin had a lot of the ball, but maybe wasn't at his tackling best. Same with like Mason Redmond and other players like McGrath as well. And defensively, there was so many missed tackles last week. For the Bombers.
Couldn't lay a tackle.
Could not lay a tackle. Very bad at closing space. Dogs were just always finding a lead out target, always using the corridor, the 1-2s with Bailey Dale. And then offensively, they can't score 80 points.
Yeah, I was about to say I was playing a drinking game where
What a surprise.
every time Essendon kicked a goal or laid a tackle, I would have had to have a shot. I was sober the whole night.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah.
That's a pretty bad drinking game.
Getting thirsty. Jeez.
And And then on the flip side, like talking about Essendon response needed, Richmond are just like, let's just cause a stir.
Yeah.
Like we've already hit our win quota. Let's see how many more we can get and really just cause a bit of a ruckus.
I reckon this game is a similar vibe to the Carlton game. So they had nothing to lose in the opening game of the season. Everyone's like, you're not going to win a game. They came out and put the pressure on and actually won. Not sure they'll go on and win, but I think they could keep it close because the pressure is on Essendon a lot more than Richmond at the moment, like you just said.
100%. But Richmond will be without Lynch and Bolter for this one.
Oh, the curfew.
The curfew is struck again. But I think if you're a Richmond fan, you'd just be really happy with some of the green shoots coming through. Like this is what we've talked about every week with Richmond, and I think we should just keep talking about it because they're good to watch. Like Sammy Lawler, I thought played his best game last week.
He didn't do one thing wrong, I don't reckon.
His mark in the goal square was very good. And, we keep touching on Seth Campbell, but he's just an excitement machine. If I told you he had 17 goals this season, which is the same amount as Nick Watson, what would you say?
I'd say that's unbelievable for a side that's, what are they, 16th? Yeah.
16th. Well, Nick Watson is, like, I'm a Hawks fan. I think he's a gun, going to be a gun.
Yeah.
Seth Campbell's equal to him in that regard. I think that is an outstanding stat for the young man. So,
the young man that's probably like around your age.
Seth Campbell.
Oh, no,
I'm young.
yeah. I don't know. It just sounds weird you saying young man.
Young man, fair enough.
You got on the beard out, I guess. Yeah.
But Marcus, you do have a bit of a punishment on this one. What do we call it?
Yeah, we can say punishment. Should I wait till we get to the big call? The lock, because it is my lock of the week. Is what will happen, and if it doesn't happen,
you got a punishment.
That's my punishment.
All right, so he's teasing it for later.
I'm teasing you,
and then we can put it on the socials and things like that.
Love a cheeky tease.
You love to tease,
but Lafau actually could be a sneaky long shot in for the Richmond.
Ooh.
He was doing his ACL last year.
Yeah,
that's just another one to look out for.
And with Lynch out, he could be a sneaky in, but he played like pre-planned quarters in the VFL last week.
Maybe another week.
Maybe too soon.
Yep.
No, I love that. Before we get into the tips and margin, lads, you got the Best on Ground award, the Yukin award.
Yep.
Who do we think for this one? So I feel like we're leaning towards the Bombers. So it's going to be a Bombers player, or can a Richmond player even get it?
Oh, you've put me on the spot here.
Yeah, that's what we do.
That's what he does.
That's what
I'm going to go with either Sam Durham or a Zach Reid. I think without Lynch, I think Reid will just be taking intercept marks all night.
I'm going to go, Zach Merritt's the obvious one, so I'm going to say Sam Durham.
Sam Durham. I'm going to go a bit of left field. Nic Martin.
I like that.
He's had like 25 touches 4 or 5 times this year. I reckon he could get a couple of goals just steaming off the wing or half back. I reckon he could do bits.
Don't mind that.
Nic Martin, the good looking man. All right, tips, margin. I'm joking.
The good looking man.
That's a bit harsh. Leo, give me a tip and margin for the Dreamtime game, please.
I'm tipping the Bombers by 8 points. I think they'll win this game, but in Essendon fashion, it won't be more than double digits.
Double digits.
Fair enough. Well, I'm hoping for a little bit more. I'm saying we got to win by at least 5 goals, especially with their outs. I know it's the occasion sort of does form. You get thrown out the window these sort of games because they're such a young side. Like you just get feed up for that even more.
Yep.
But anything less than that, count as a loss.
You count it as a loss, really?
Fair enough, mate.
I think after last week, you just got to go out and win. So I'm going to say 20 points. I think it'll be pretty comfortable. But the first half that Richmond have shown pretty much throughout the whole year, except against North, will be pretty high intensity. They'll bring the heat, and I reckon they'll be leading at half time. But then Bombers will steamroll them after that.
Don't mind it.
All right, Saturday, here we go. This is another big one. Carlton versus GWS, Saturday, 12:35 at Marvel Stadium. This is actually the start of a mini gather round on Saturday. There's 3 games in Melbourne.
I love it.
You got 2 at Marvel, 1 at the MCG. You got another one at Marvel and the MCG on Sunday as well.
Oh, yes.
This is like a mini gather round. It's a bit strange.
It is a bit weird, isn't it?
Very, very weird, but that's all right. We get more footy down here in Melbourne. This one, Nick Haynes Cup, I'm calling it. And
because he's the only player that's played for both teams.
What would you call this cup? There's a
Jed Lamb Cup.
That's a rare one. The Jed Lamb Cup. You got one, Marcus?
I'll get back to you on a very niche player.
Okay, Jed Lamb's pretty niche. Zach Williams.
Yeah,
who else?
not niche.
He's not pretty niche. But Nick Haynes Cup, he's been doing pretty well, as we've talked about the last couple of weeks. There's a huge game for both sides, lads, in regards to the top 8. You've got Giants 5-5, which isn't too bad, but they've had a horrible month.
Not by their standard in their list.
Exactly right. And the Blues are 4-6. So both really want to win this game. Do we think that they need to win this game to prove to themselves that they can make finals, or even just to make finals, especially the Blues? Do we think they have to win?
Yeah, I think so. But we also said it last week when they played Sydney, and that was the same for the Swans as well. So
true.
They do need a win, and 4-7 is not ideal. 5-6 is a lot more manageable.
Well, I think this Christian Jack's Cup is going to be possibly the game of the round.
Let us know in the comments who you think the cup should be named after. But that
Christian
should be
Jack's.
How many games did he play?
He played exactly 7 at both clubs.
Oh, that's just beautiful synergy, isn't it?
Symmetry, right
There we go. Or symmetry, whatever you want to call it. We've got rumours that TDK might return. Have you guys heard anything else about that one? Because
no, my sources indicate that I'm unsure.
Oh, there we go. That was actually all right. We've got Giants have no Callahan, which obviously hurt his shoulder, which is a huge out. I know he hasn't been that consistent, but he's just that Rolls Royce, the guy that can set him up. And when Tom Greene isn't at his best, I feel like Callahan steps up. So
and there's no Josh Kelly either. He's been injured, so
this is
the midfield is a bit scarce. Whereas Carlton maybe could exploit that.
Yes. No, I agree. That's fair point. We've got Toby Greene as well. We've talked about him, I think, every single show. I put him as my big call last week. He didn't step up for me. Is he finally going to step up, lads? He averages his least disposals against any other team.
Oh, geez.
Against the Blues. So that's a bit of a worry.
That's a big worry.
He averages only like just over a goal a game, which isn't horrible, but for his standards, he averages like 2 goals against a lot of teams. So what do we think? Toby Greene time?
Are we seeing the decline? Maybe.
How old
He's 31.
I thought he was older
He's
than
got to
that.
have a couple more years. Look at Pendles.
Yeah.
Pendles is an outlier.
Yeah.
Look at
Gunston is-
Sidebottom. Look at Dangerfield.
Yeah, but they're all like here. I don't know if Toby Greene's there.
Ooh.
Career-wise, 100% he is.
Oh, I don't know.
100%.
That could be a little bit of a debate. You think he's up there with Danger, Pendles? I don't think so.
100%. It's Toby effing Green.
There we go.
I
Billy Evans.
wouldn't go that far,
Yeah, thank you.
but he has been excellent player, and he still is.
Yeah, there we go.
Can't get better than excellent.
Yeah, exactly. Carlton fans, they'll be worried about the second half. They've lost 9 of 10 second halves this year. That's what's cost them. They looked even like solid against Sydney. They were leading all the stat categories last week in the first half. Then they dropped off dramatically. But there's a few good stats for Carlton coming to this one. GWS have lost 5 of their last 6 at Marvel Stadium and 4 of their last 5 matches this season. Like that game against Sydney that I went to over there, they shouldn't have lost to that Sydney side. They've been woeful, which is really unlike, like you talked up GWS, I think, as your flag pick. What is going on?
At the start of the season, it's really concerning, and I think it was even highlighted more by their shock loss to Fremantle by 6 goals, and they could have easily lost that game by more.
Yep. No, absolutely. So this is probably the toughest one to pick. What do you reckon, lads? The tips and margin for me, because this could swing either way, I reckon. But I'm really worried about the Giants.
Yeah.
More than the Blues.
The recent Giants record at Marvel makes me say Blues by 7, but they probably have to be up by 60 at halftime for that to happen.
I don't
60
think
and a
they're going to be
half
up at 60.
It's going to be so close. So I'm going even a shorter margin. I'm going the Blues by 2 points. I just think you spoke about possibly the midfield will have the trick there, and also I'm loving the look of the matchup of like Curnow.
Sam
Sammy
Taylor.
Taylor.
That would be
Sammy
fun.
Taylor.
Yeah.
And Curnow has a very, very, very good record at Marvel Stadium. So if Sam Taylor can keep him quiet, then who knows? They're well in a shot for winning this game.
No, absolutely. I'm going to go Blues by 10 points. Same thing. GWS aren't that good at Marvel. They've had a worse month, I'd say. They've just been horrible, really. But you can tell that we don't have that much confidence in the Blues because we've all gone 10 points or less. So this will be a really fun one and one of the games of the round, I reckon.
Yep.
All right, here we go. Marcus has got this one. Hawthorn versus Brisbane, Saturday, 4:15 at the MCG. We're back in Melbourne. Take it away, Marcosa.
Yeah, well, this is the first time this season that Brisbane will head into a match as the underdogs.
Really?
Which is kind of surprising. I think Hawthorn have only been the underdogs 2 or 3
Probably
times.
Suns last week.
Not many times, yeah.
Yeah, but it makes sense because the Hawks have won the last 5 meetings between Brisbane, between the 2 sides.
Yep.
And they've all been at home.
Yep.
For Hawthorn, whether that be MCG or Marvel
Or Tassie.
So they do have a good record. Hawthorn's midfield, that's the big talking point. Was Newcombe going to play in or out? Looks like he's definitely going to be in.
Wasn't on the injury list. So.
Wasn't on the injury list, so he looks all good to go. I think it was a bit of a scare. He was in a moon boot.
Yeah,
Wasn't
definitely
he?
scared me.
But you talk about Josh Ward.
Yeah.
Does he need to step up? Because you said he possibly needs to fill a bigger role. Personally, I feel like he's turned the ball over a little bit too much this season.
Yeah, I think that Easter Monday game, he definitely turned the ball over a bit too much for my liking. But I think he has warmed into his role a little more each week. He does need to have that big game against the contender, though, because he's sort of taken easy wins. No offense to, Richmond, West Coast, Melbourne.
No, you're right.
To step up against Brisbane, I know it's at home, but a the G's a big occasion. I think he definitely needs to, 100%.
And you're going to see a big host of changes for Hawthorn coming to the side after they did rest quite a few players against Gold Coast. And your man, stats guy, Jack Gunston, being one of them.
Yeah, so
Is that because he's close to him in age? Is that why?
and just goal kicking ability and just play.
And height.
I could have played for Hawthorn. No, Gunston, if he's back, that's a huge in. As the rumours are that he's going to be back. Surely he was just rested for 1 week. He had 4 goals last meeting with the Lions. You guys, Hawks, have an awesome record against him, and it was sort of like, you got. I left you guys and then I'm going to kick goals against you. So it's a bit of a weird one. He lost all his powers, like a Space Jam sort of, when he went to Brisbane. And then he kicked 4 goals against them. They're like, why'd you do this for us? It's a bit brutal, but I reckon if he comes back, he could kick a lot of goals. And he just fixes your fault. Like, you're locked in. If he plays, you're locked in for 100 points a game. I don't
know about that.
It takes the pressure off Chol as well.
100%. And to add to it, like, a few other ins, you got Meek probably back, Chol back, Impey back. Oh, Chol back.
He's played everything.
Meek back, Nash back, Impey back is what I meant to say. So big ins. Hopefully Newcomb can play as well.
Yeah, that's a lot of good squad depth sort of players. But on the flip side, Brisbane look like they might have to make a few force changes because they've dropped 6 points in the last 2 weeks against North Melbourne and Melbourne. So that's not pretty reading for the reigning premiers.
No.
And, we said they haven't played well so far this season, and now we're seeing that on the results with points on board. But press conference, Chris Fagan, he said they're lacking hunger, they're lacking desire, and I guess you kind of, I don't know if winning a premiership makes you want more, or whether it's sort of we've got it now. We can take our foot off the gas. I don't know.
I feel like it goes like 50-50. Some sports people, they win it, they go, well, now I know what it feels like. I want to go again.
Yeah.
Whereas others, maybe the older sort of players are like, I've already won it. They've got a few older guys there. But he backtracked on his comments a lot, Chris Fagan. He was saying that he was just talking about one of the quarters they were really bad in.
Yeah, okay.
And he didn't mean it for the whole season, but you said it, mate. He probably shouldn't have. Don't say that. He shouldn't have said that.
It's interesting as well because, like, you look at the recent years, Geelong premiership hangover, Collingwood premiership hangover. So Brisbane are going to be trying really hard, and it's going to start with this game to stop that trend. They want to not just like make finals, which those two sides haven't after winning the flag, but be a top 4 side. So they really want to win this game.
Yeah, I think they'll bounce back as well. Maybe not get the win, but definitely better performance-wise on the field. It's just a shame this isn't like a Saturday night blockbuster. Because it has a good game written all over it.
I love Saturday 4:15 or like 3:20 games. Beautiful.
I don't mind
roll straight into the Saturday night. I reckon it's a perfect time if it's a nice day as well. The other one I wanted to touch on, Kitty Coleman was back last week. I know he didn't do that much, but he loves the MCG. He just loves the open space. So I'm hoping that he's 81 week under his belt, and I'm hoping that he can, because he's one of my favourite players, as you said as well.
He's so good to watch.
So hopefully he fires up and he can do well for Brisbane. All right. Yep. Tips here. This is another really tricky one. The Hawks have a really strong record, beating the Lions in the last 5, as we mentioned. What are your tips, lads?
I think Hawks by 3. Brisbane will come out firing, but I think Hawks can just hold them.
I'm going to go Hawthorn by 10 points.
Hang on. I thought you were tipping Brisbane.
No. I said they'll have a better performance. I said I didn't say
that. Why did I put Brisbane in the tipping graphic?
Is it out yet? Is it out?
That's your fault. That's a human error right there.
Let's go to VAR. I'm checking the chat. You've edited it. He's edited it. It said Lions. It said Lions. Oh, this is a conspiracy that goes to the top.
You know what happens if you tip both? You get the draw.
You get the draw.
I reckon he has to
he would have had a draw for pretty much every game this season.
True. Actually, Leo can't talk.
I'm a new man. This is new. This is recent.
Anyway,
you know what? Lions is staying in the graphic.
Screw it. No, I don't like this bloke now. I'm going Brisbane.
Good. I'm not changing the graphic.
Brisbane by 147 points.
Jeez, that's a big bounce back. I cannot possibly tip Brisbane. You can't be drawing to North. You can't be losing to Melbourne and then think you're going to rock up at the MCG.
But they'll be angry.
They'll be angry, but they're angry. They can't play footy at the moment. So I'm going to go the Hawks by 22. I think it'll be pretty comfortable. The Lions are just not up to it. I think they'll be fine come the end of the season, some finals and things like that.
Yep.
But right now, I can't trust them at all.
Fair enough.
There we go. All right. Saturday night, another blockbuster, Collingwood versus North Melbourne. Saturday night, 7:35 at Marvel Stadium. Another one in Melbourne, of course. Leo, you got a lot of North games.
I love North.
With your North mates, and really surprising me.
You not being one of them.
No. I already see him enough. It's all good. Leo, take it away.
So I think this game is going to be an absolute goal fest, this one.
I like that.
I think you got Bobby Hill and Jamie Elliott. They're in great form. Bobby Hill seems to always destroy North Melbourne.
Yeah, I think he kicked 4 goals in the last quarter.
Didn't he?
Oh, geez.
Didn't he
That's
take
not ideal. Took
Mark of the Year that game as well?
He's just an elite player. Nick Larkey, great record against the Pies. Is that right, Stats Guy?
Absolutely, which is pretty surprising. But he's got 4 goals, 5 goals, and 5 goals his last 3. So Darcy Moore is probably going to be out.
I think either way, I still think it's a great matchup.
It is probably a good matchup for him. And at Marvel, North like to lower the eyes a bit more. Hopefully, yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, hopefully. So yeah, I think this will hit the over. I just think I can see a lot of goals. North will really try and hit their attacking straps. But the Pies, though, the flag favourites for a reason. They just keep finding ways to win.
Good, yeah.
They're just an exceptional side. And then you look at North, and they've put in a really great month of football, competitive month. I just wonder if it's just all going to come crashing down in this one and it's just a little bit ugly. What do you think?
Genuinely, as a North fan, I reckon it came crashing down even though we won on the weekend. I know that we won.
What?
Just hear me out. We played the worst footy of the last month on the weekend. And I don't know I think we played slightly better against Essendon. I think we played a lot better against Brisbane. And I'm missing a game in there.
Yeah, but as I said,
what was that?
Port.
So yeah, same. We played way better against Port than we did against. I know that's a big call. I know we won and I'm very happy. But I think it already sort of came crashing down a bit.
I said that on last week's on last week's Wednesday show. I said it would all not sort of come crashing down, but if you don't win by at least 3 goals, then I wouldn't be happy.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying because it's been close games. 16 points was the combined margin of the last 4 games, which is wild. But I know what you're saying, Leo. But I'm not going to lean towards that way.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah, there we go. All right, tips and margin, lads. I feel like everyone's going to be leaning towards Collingwood, but what do we think, Leo?
Yeah, I think Pies. I'm going to say 7 goals, but it's not going to feel like 7 goals. I feel
7 goals.
North will feel like they're in the game, and they'll look up and they'll be 7 goals down.
That's a big one. Yep.
Yeah, Marcus. Well, it's hard to look past Collingwood, isn't it? They're the best team in the competition. So 27 points, Collingwood. I do say one player to look out for. Finbar Maley.
The Moose.
I think he has one of the best hands in the competition.
Yeah, he does.
And if he's coming up against the second Collingwood tall defender, whether that be Frampton or not, I think he could have a few contested marks and could kick a few snags.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if Frampton can back it up from last week because he was great on Thriller last week. So that'd be good to see. I'm going to go Pies by 19 points. One of my surprises on the socials was that North can keep it close. We had like a 47 or 8 point lead last year and choked. I genuinely think at Marvel we can be a lot more competitive. And the Pies, I just don't think they're going to smash them, but even though they're the best team still.
Do we count 4 goals as being close?
Yeah. 19 points. Oh, we got 18 points, 3 goals.
3 goals.
Is that all right?
That's better.
That's better. Against the top team when we're 17th.
Yeah, true. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. Don't do it again. All right, next game here. The other one on Saturday night, 8:10 at Optus Stadium, is Walyalup, the Freo Dockers, against Yartapuulti, the Port Adelaide Power. Now, we're going to touch on this one because he's probably one of the biggest outs of the weekend, the horny one. Jason Horne-Francis is a huge out, especially against Freo. You've got Sarong, you've got Brayshaw, probably one of the best duos in the competition, and you take that out, they already rely on him, Butters and Rosie way too much. So now their 3-prong is down to 2.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll move Rosie in the midfield a bit more now with that. A little bit worried about the star power in there because Rosie's obviously been playing halfback, so interesting.
Yeah, what do you think? What would... Put your coach's hat on. We like to do that sometimes.
I'm Ken Hinkley.
You're Ken Hinkley.
As Ken Hinkley, I decide to walk away from the Port Adelaide Football Club.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Now, if I'm Ken Hinkley, I'm probably playing like more of a 50-50 split between halfback and mid for Rosie.
Yeah, because you need Rosie. They need Rosie a bit for the delivery, the pace. But then if they start losing their clearances, you got to put him in there.
100%.
Ken Hinkley's got a more important mission.
What's that?
Going up to the moon with the minions.
Oh, he's Groot. I like it. I'm going to steal the moon. I like that. Freo fans, they are crying out for back-to-back wins. They've gone win, loss, win, loss, win. They just want back-to-back wins. They haven't had it for, 6 rounds there. And they should be playing a lot better. Like, I was saying at the start of the season, I'm really excited to watch Freo. They're probably like my second favourite team to watch this year.
Really?
Yeah, like at the start of the season, I was saying that because...
Teams to keep an eye on.
Yeah, teams to keep an eye on. And if they get back-to-back wins, I think they can propel. But do we think if they don't get this sort of win, they won't have the confidence or get towards that finals that they should really be making this year?
They're playing a depleted Power. I think they just have to win and have to win well.
Yeah.
At home as well.
At home as well, yeah.
I think if they win, we don't really read too much into them. But if they lose, we read a lot into them.
What if they win well? Like 6 goals, but like comprehensive.
I think 30, 40 plus.
Still, I'm thinking they're playing Port Adelaide, who aren't in the best of form. They just got smashed at home to Geelong. They're not playing great footy. They've got their own injury concerns. Like I just think, and off the field troubles. And like, I don't know, are Fremantle having that bad of a season that we're talking about? I know they're not playing the best of footy. And
it's just the way they're playing.
Yeah, but they're inside the 8 on percentage.
Yeah, you're right.
With Gibberish.
We're probably being harsh. I think it's just because everyone expected them to be top 6.
Better than they were.
Most people tipped them in the top 6, I'd say. I think
Yeah.
we all did. So
I did.
One thing that Leo talked about on the Sunday show is that Port, they've been giving up goals to tall forwards. I was saying that Lachie Jones hasn't been too bad down there. He was okay on Jezza. He's injured. You've got Horn-Francis out. This is going to come crashing down. But they have been giving up goals to tall forwards all season long. So you got Jezza kicked 7 last week. A few weeks ago, Thriller kicked 3. That's okay, but he kicked 3. Norton kicked 3, who's been horrible. So him kicking 3 is like kicking 6 on you. Gunston kicked 6. And Membry kicked 4. Membry doesn't kick 4 anymore.
And Membry was the only tall, wasn't he?
Yeah, and I think Mychik got
time.
3 goals to that game as well. So they're conceding a lot of goals to tall forwards. That's where the big kahuna comes into play, lads.
I
Josh
love this.
Tracy, I'll get it into my big calls, but he had 3 goals last meeting. And Freo, they really lowered the eyes last game and just hit him up. So I think he's going to have a huge game, especially with no Lachie Jones.
Yep, I love that big call.
There we go. I'm going to touch on how many you will kick in my big call, but
Okay.
Leo, you wanted me to explain that well, and I hope I did that justice.
Good job.
There we go.
Boy.
All right, here we go. Walyalup versus Yartapuulti. Tips and margin, lads. This is going to be a belting, I reckon. What do you guys think?
I think Freo by 17. I reckon they're not going to be convincing Freo, but they'll win.
They'll win? Yep.
Freo, 34 points.
34, yeah, I'm more leaning towards that. I'm going to go by 40 points. I think I've been saying it all
Just hit
season.
that 40 plus margin.
It just feels weird because they're going to go back-to-back wins, but Power have some big outs, and they just rely on... They'll notice a big out in that middle of the ground without Horn-Francis especially, and their forwards and things like that. So we'll see how that goes. All right, Sunday fun day, as Leo likes to call it. We've got Kuwarna, the Adelaide Crows, taking on Waalitj Marawar. That's the West Coast Eagles. Sunday, 1:10 at the Adelaide Oval. Here we go, Marcus.
Well, if news couldn't get any worse in the West Coast Eagles community over the past week or two, it's just going to be boosted by the news this week that Jeremy McGovern might not ever play again.
Oh,
which is an absolute shame because he's been an absolute champion for West Coast.
a beast.
He was so influential as well in that grand final triumph.
Yep.
So he's going in front of the panel to assess his concussion issues. So look, they found a way to win last week without him, albeit this is a very different lineup, and
They're much stronger at home. as well.
Adelaide's tools are a very, very big issue. That I assume they're still in the top 10, all 3 of them, for goals scored this season.
They are. Yep.
Fogarty has been great. He was great again last week. But look, that's going to be tough. But will it be a factor? Because there's going to be a lot of wind and rain forecast in Adelaide.
Oh, Jane Bunn over here. There we go.
Normally, Adelaide weather, beautiful.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's very good.
Oh, you're
Very
a
warm,
family
it's
from
nice.
there.
But
Remember a gather round. Whew.
strong winds, I think it was like 38 Ks. The brunt of the rain will be coming the following day, but there are still expecting some rain. So that might
We
not
need to get
play.
like a green screen behind Marcus with like the waft of rain coming through, and here you will see. In Queensland, it's actually very sunny, but in Adelaide, no good.
Well, it might, that could perhaps be the perfect storm for West Coast and play into their hands. Because, it might not play in Adelaide's, but nevertheless, I still think Adelaide are one of the best sides at home in the competition. It's a bit of a fortress there, but what do the West Coast Eagles do with Oscar Allen, boys? Do they play him forward? Do they play him back?
He showed a bit forward, I think.
I think kick 2-2.
Yeah. Him and Jake the Snake, keep him forward.
But Adelaide is so tall in forward line. Do they need him
it's a
back
good
there?
point.
Do they just need to put him back
You've
there?
convinced me to put him back.
Well, there you go.
No, but
he's
he's not
done
a
it.
good back at all, though.
But they need the height.
I'm going to put him
Need the
forward.
height.
Like I know you can play defensive, but their defense isn't good enough without McGovern. He's a 4-time All-Australian, lads. They're just not good enough
So that's
down
why
there.
they need Oscar Allen.
No,
then.
just put him forward and go for the goal fest. Liam Ryan was last quarter was tearing it up. He can kick 2.
Trying
Oscar
out
Allen
to
at his best can kick 2. Waterman can kick 2. Liam
Waterman
Baker
can kick 6.
Liam Baker. I know he's been playing half back. Chuck him half forward. He can kick 2.
Tyler
Well, I
Brockman.
think they had a lot of players, West Coast, who had 20 odd in a goal that got him over the line against St Kilda.
Yeah, I think the Crows will win this pretty comfortably, but I genuinely think if they go for the shootout more than the defense, they might have more of a chance.
Okay.
Or is that a big call because their Adelaide's forward line's awesome? But
Yeah,
especially
it's a
in the
big
wet,
call.
like just go for it. That's all I'm saying on West Coast.
Yeah, this is the game though where the likes of Isaac Rankin and Josh Rachele, they just go ham in this sort of weather.
Yeah, and at the Adelaide Oval, they love it. They'll be getting the hill fired up, won't they? We love it.
100%.
All right, tips and margin, lads. What do we think? Are we all going the Crom?
Yeah, well, you talked about the strong wins. I think the only strong win will be Adelaide by 37 points.
Oh, I smelled a strong wind over there before, actually.
Bit boring.
Yeah, that's all.
I'm get my green scheme. I'm imagining even stronger wins. I'm going Crom by 50 points.
Ooh,
50
it does
points.
say that on the green screen.
It does.
I'm going to go in between you lads. I'm going to go Crows by 45.
Sitting on the fence.
That's that is not sitting on the fence. That is Crows by 45. All right. Next one on Sunday is Naarm, the Melbourne Demons, taking on Sydney at the MCG 3:20 on the Sunday. This should be a very tasty matchup. Obviously, Melbourne are coming off that amazing win. Max Gawn was on the radio saying that that's one of his favourite wins in a very long time, just because they've had a lot of pressure on them. And then Sydney, they got a good win against the Blues, and they'll be a little bit more fired up. And I think their midfield is starting to click a bit more. Heaney hasn't been at his consistent best, either as Chad Warner. But the last couple of weeks, they looked a bit better, lads.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, they looked better. Warner and Heaney probably the best game they played together combined last week.
Yeah,
this
agreed.
season.
Agreed.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of area to work on though with those midfielders. Like I know Heaney's numbers were incredible. What do you have? 38
and 2,
but he was going at a tad over 50% disposal efficiency. So there's still a little bit like the little niche stuff to get them back to their best.
Yep, I agree.
But they're still playing, like their midfielders are still great. You're not
Kicking
gonna,
goals.
You're not going to say you don't want that sort of performance.
No.
And arguably that's what's been missing, goals from midfield.
Yep.
Throughout their losing run. And Heaney and Warner did that last week.
Yeah, hopefully Heaney can straighten up. But 2 goals, 5, that was just unbelievable. You got McInerney and Amadi out. Obviously, those big concussions. Still can't believe that one.
Well, no, they got suspended.
Oh, suspended the other way around.
Yeah,
they did the concussions.
forced
My
the
bad.
concussions.
I did word that really badly there. But yes, they're out. But you've got Amadi out of their forward line, but this isn't as bad as against some of the other teams. You've got the Ds who are still ranked 15th on offense. Like they're not firing on offense. We've said a long time that they need another forward. I've got some stats against the Ds, but then I'll have some good points for the Ds as well. Okay. So I've got Melbourne have lost 9 of their last 11 matches in Victoria. Now, we've talked about their fans not turning up and things like that sometimes to the G, but they've just been horrible at home. So they'd rather watch them on TV sometimes. The Swans also have an 8-2 record in the last 10 against the Ds at the MCG, which is another big worry. But the Demons are building. They've actually got the equal most points on the ladder in the league since round 5.
Yeah, they're 4-1.
So they're 4-1 in their last 5.
Yep. The one they lost, they were in against Hawthorn.
The only other teams that are 4-1 are Collingwood and the Dogs. And we're saying they're the top few teams. So they've at least turned a corner.
Yep.
Ever since that loss to North, they've looked a lot stronger because that was like the...
That seems like ages ago.
Yeah. I think it's the loss to Essendon since then.
Oh, and Essendon as well. Yeah. And Gather Round, of course. So, Leo, this is one we've talked up Simon Goodwin last week, and then we were talking him down earlier in the season. If you were Simon Goodwin, are you using Clary as a tagger, first of all?
Yeah.
And who are you putting him on after that?
Even putting my coach's hat on again as Simon Goodwin. I would be using Clary as a tagger again. I think, Neil he had 30 last week, but I think it just opens the door for these other mids. Mm-hmm. And I'd send him to Heaney. I just think Warner has too much pace for Clary to get away from the stoppage. I just think around stoppages, physically, Heaney and Oliver probably match up a bit better for the Ds.
Interesting. I would go Warner, to be honest.
But Warner just gets the ball and he's away from Clary. He's too quick.
I know, but I just feel like Warner is a more momentum building player for Sydney than Heaney is.
That's a great point.
Like if he bursts out the pack and kicks a goal from a stoppage like he normally does, that'll just rile the crowd up, rile the team up even more. But I see why Heaney is a very good matchup.
He could do that with Clary on him.
Yeah.
So that's why I reckon stop Heaney and then
I don't mind
just
that.
let Warner do his thing.
No, I agree with that one. And then the other one.
Which one?
With Leo. Okay. You were the last point, so I'm agreeing with you. You win this debate for this round. But the other one is James Jordan. He's up against his old side. Do we send him to anyone at the Ds? I personally don't think so. I feel like he could play well against his old side. He'll be excited to play against them. What do you guys think?
James Jordan, yeah.
I think we see him too much in a tagging role for Sydney because he's great at it.
Yeah.
But also I think where this is a game you sort of have the luxury to, let him do his own thing. Let him play, give him a different sort of role in this game. Because the only person you would really throw him to is Petrarca.
Yeah, but he's probably not going to be able to keep up with Petrarca.
Yeah.
In terms of speed.
I don't think he's strong. Is James Jordan
strong enough
to
Bowie?
It's not a bad. Jake Bowie's been unreal.
He's been very underrated this season.
Good call.
Little Bowie.
He has been really good. All right, tips and margin, lads. Ooh, this will be interesting if we all go the same or how we go here. Leo, who you going?
I think D's win this by 13 points. It'll be a good win
13.
for good win.
Oof.
Oh, good. Okay. Wow.
Well, lucky Alex isn't here because I'm also going the D's. I'm going to go by a few points. I think it's going to be so close.
I reckon this will be really close.
Tough game to
as
tip.
well. I'm going to go D's by 12. I can't believe we're all going the D's.
It's a 50-50 game. We've all picked the
I
D's.
tossed and turned in this one, but
Lost sleep over it.
I just think that they've had actually a pretty good month. Yeah, I'm going to lose sleep over it tonight. A few of my tips. But D's by
like
12.
800 ping over there.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, here we go. Sunday, 4:40, Marvel Stadium, Euro-Yroke. That's the St Kilda Saints versus Gold Coast. Leo, this is your one. Your Saints, who you've tipped almost every single game, and I don't know what's going on there.
My beloved Suns. Why are you laughing?
No reason.
Mate, Suns are a risk at Marvel. They lost to Richmond there this season. They lost to North there last season. Dimmer hates going to Marvel, just like I hate coming out and hanging with your boys.
Oh, that is just...
It's unsuccessful. What do I get out of it?
a good time.
I lose every time.
Oh, yeah,
I lose
sure.
money every time.
Oh, we don't have to invite you anyway. It's all good.
Oh, okay. Sure. But he hates it. No, ever since then, they've only had that kick after the siren win against Essendon.
Yeah, so they're 1-4.
Sucked in Marcus.
1-4 under Dimmer at Marvel. Obviously, that Essendon
Since
one.
Gold
But they
Coast.
probably should have lost that one as well. So they haven't gone too well there.
All right, that's the third time we brought up that Essendon game, boys. Let's just swiftly move.
Yeah, that's right.
What Essendon game?
Keep going.
They've had 2 games, the Suns, in hot Darwin conditions. So I wonder if that'll play a factor. But then if you go the opposite, they've got a 10-day break.
Yeah.
So you'd think they'd be a little bit freshened up. You think they'd come out firing. The Saints are potentially without Nas, and they are without McRae. So I pose the question, who can lift for them? And don't say Jack Higgins, because he's already done it.
I think one that has to live for them is Brad Hill.
100%.
Very,
People have
very
been saying that
underwhelming.
for a while.
Yeah.
This is actually that type of game where he does, though, because he'll have to get a lot more of the ball. They'll probably be looking for his leadership and things like that.
Perhaps
so maybe
a
he can.
Zach Jones sort of type as well.
Well, he's been playing VFL, hasn't he, Zach Jones? He's got.
Well, I feel like if
gotta come in
you're going to
with-
lose someone in that midfield, you'd bring in Zach Jones.
What about the poo? Could
Yeah,
he
but he's
go-
probably warming into it after his injury, so I don't expect him to lift.
You're a big Saints man. Or, who do you reckon?
All of them, because I think they're going to win.
All of
Spoiler
them.
alert.
Oh my God, really?
Shall we just go to
That's
the
why I
tips
was
and
laughing.
margins?
That's why I was
about,
laughing.
I don't know about that yet, but I genuinely think that without McRae's a bigger out if Nasser's out as well.
Nah, it's fine.
I
mate.
think-
McRae's a huge because you got Noah Anderson, you got Matt Rowe, you got Tuke Miller, arguably one of the best midfields in the competition.
You got Rowan Marshall, Jack Sinclair, Jack Steele, Cameron
Jack
Eating.
Sinclair's been playing like half back mid, like Cameron Eating.
Bro, you're actually on 1,000
Because
in.
I'm just rattled because you're talking up the Saints that much, but that's okay.
No, I think the Gold Coast midfield, I think, with McRae out especially, McRae's just played so big of a part for them, getting the ball out, getting that first handball out of the contest, clearances and whatnot. I think the Gold Coast midfielders are going to run riot.
Yeah,
I disagree.
I agree. All right, well, give us your tip then, Leo. This is a bit of a surprise.
Saints 15, lock it in.
Lock? Is
No.
this going to be your lock of the week? Punishment on it.
No deal, no lock.
AP,
no
I
lock.
heard lock.
No, but they'll win.
They'll win.
They'll win. Take that to the bank.
That's outrageous. That is outrageous.
Yeah, I'm
Marcus?
gonna go the other side of the coin. Gold Coast, 22 points.
I'm going to go Suns by 52. This is the time where they absolutely smash them at Marvel. I genuinely think without McRae, the Saints are cooked and the Suns are just much better. They got a 10-day break. They could have played another game in between then at Darwin and they still win this by 40 plus.
I can't wait till the Sunday show where you'll have to eat some humble pie. Come on, the Sainers.
What flavor's humble pie?
Leo flavored.
Oh no, I'm not coming in there. That's outrageous. All right, that's
What does Leo taste like?
don't want to
You'll
know.
find out later.
Hey, there we go. All right, that's all the round 11 previews for the second week of Sir Doug Nicholls round. The lock of the week and big calls is up now. All right, the lock.
Let's do it.
I'm saying this. It's on the record. If you get a lock wrong, we are sorting out a forfeit. Okay? Are we okay with that?
Yeah.
I want some consent over here from the lads on the couch.
Yeah, let's do it.
Sure.
All right, cool. Leo, we'll start with you because you got it wrong last week, so you got to step up.
Bobby Hill 2+.
Oh.
Now that's a lock.
Against
North. No Jackson Archer tagging him. This will happen. This will happen.
No, I agree with that one, Marcus.
Essendon win Dreamtime.
He loves a mic hold.
Essendon will win at Dreamtime, and if they don't, boys, I'm getting the yellow Richmond sash dyed on my hair.
A sash, not just blonde.
Oh yeah, I'm getting the sash.
That
I'm getting the
is
sash,
awesome.
and I might even get 22 Layla shaved into the back of the head.
You didn't speak into
So-
the mic.
I'm gonna get 22 Layla Sam Lawler shaved in the back of my head.
That is outrageous. Everyone
Why
that
don't
is
you
not an
get a
Essendon fan.
tattoo that says
Oh.
Sammy Lawler or something.
I could get a semi-permanent tattoo.
No, okay. I'll help you out. You just have to do the hair. You don't have to do the tattoo. But that is crazy. I really hope Richmond win now. That is awesome.
Go the Tigers.
Go the Tigs. All right. My lock is Noah Anderson 25 plus. Just
Boring.
It's a lock.
You
Bobby Hill's.
You have Essendon to win.
Yeah, that's boring.
Well,
I think that's the least boring.
but like at least I'm dyeing my hair and getting my hair like
figure
shaved.
out-
I already had wings, mate. Oh, that almost killed me.
We'll figure out a forfeit. Just keep your panties on.
Yeah, geez. That is a lock. Noah Anderson is a lock. It's not a big call. It's just a lock. All right, 25 plus. All right, big calls. Now this is where it can get a bit more Larry. Marcus.
A bit more Larry.
There we go. Yeah, and hairy.
All
Whatever
right.
you want to call it. Marcus.
West Coast failed to score 50 points in horrendous Adelaide weather.
Don't mind
is
that.
that a
Is that a
big
big
call?
call? Wait, hang on.
That's not a big
They
call.
only average like
EP
70.
says it's a big call.
Oh,
EP thinks Corey Durn's the best player ever.
Olivia Van der Kamp.
Fine, I'll be willing to go down to 40.
All right, I'm happy with that. I'm happy
keep
with that.
him. We'll go. Keep him. At
45. Me in the middle. Check
Okay,
on it.
45.
done.
Me in the middle.
Like,
Thank
can't see
you.
it on camera probably
right.
because of the switching of the camera. But
All right,
there
West
we go.
Coast failed to score 45 points for Marcus. We'll give him that one.
Yep.
Leo, what's your big call?
My big call. So I'm going Suv and Paul Curtis combined for 7+. But there are just a little rumours that
7+?
Curtis might not play. So in the instance he doesn't play, still got a big call for you, and that's Suv 5+.
Okay, so what do you reckon the breakdown will be if Paul Curtis and Larkey play for the
4-3.
4-3? That would
Actually,
be great.
4-3.
Do you need Paul Curtis? Play better without him at the moment.
Whoa.
That is true, but we could have won some games
No, he's
against
definitely- you
Essendon,
definitely need
against
him.
Brisbane if we had him. He's a 3 to 4 goal difference because he gets a couple and he sets a couple up.
Yeah,
Agreed. And his nickname's Bench Press.
Yeah, he's got the best bench press per.
Capita.
I was going to say per capita. That's
Per
not
EBITDA.
right. EBITDA. Yeah, Leo, what's EBITDA?
How many stats guys could he bench press?
That's a great call. That's a short right there. Let's get him in.
I'll get him in for that. My big call is Josh Tracy, 6+ goals. As I mentioned before, Port love leaking goals to the big forwards. Jezza kicked 7 last week. I think the big kahuna, or what do they call him on Triple M? Dick Cyclone as well. He's going to kick 6+ goals in this one. There we go.
Love
That's
it.
my big call.
That's a great call.
All right, I think that'll do us for AFL today. Are we done, lads?
Yeah, I think we're done.
I think we're done. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure you get around us on all the socials, AFL Today AU, Aussie Rules Today on Facebook, and for more footy content all season long. This show, of course, as I mentioned before, is powered by Stockhead, providing all types of news articles from leading journalists. And guess what? It is free. Check out Stockhead today. All right, thank you very much to Leo.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Owen.
Owen who?
When the Saints go marching in. See you
I
on
knew were
platform
gonna do that.
28.
I knew you were going to do that. Thank you very much, Marcus.
Thank you, Stats guy.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Olivia and Gerald behind the camera. We'll see you on Sunday for all things round 11. We'll see you then on AFL Today.